What's up, guys? Sean here with Blue Ridge Silverhound. We're kind of reprising an oldie but goodie here. Fancy serial number report. Due to popular demand, a couple people and even a dealer buddy of mine asked me to do another one of these, and it's been honestly about a year. So we're gonna go deep dive into some of the most recent eBay sales, talk about what you could find on your dollar bills, your $5 bills, your $2 bills, and all that great stuff, and see what you could do to make a little bit of fast cash here ahead of the holidays by simply going through your wallet. Couldn't be easier, right? So stay tuned. Before we get started here, I want to let everybody know it's a sad day. Sad day for me. We have a Whatnot show coming up here in just over an hour. To you guys, by the time you guys watch this, it'll be less than that. 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern, here on this fine Friday night, November 14th. And we are going to be selling the finale, the final group of BU Lincoln Cent rolls. Okay, I could have gone a lot longer than this fine evening selling these because I have a whole lot more from that big purchase that we just did a couple months ago. But because the Lincoln Cent is officially done in production, the U.S. Treasury just minted the last 2025, and they even did a special little Omega privy mark on it. Really cute. I wonder what they're going to do with it. They're going to try and milk that cow the best they can, right, guys? So yeah, I mean, there's now unprecedented demand for just sealed inventory, and we are going to do one last final show, and I got to keep some for myself, guys. So we have the goods. Come on down tonight if you got those $15 vouchers that you got and received when you signed up. It might be a good time to utilize that. But yeah, hope to see you guys tonight. It's gonna be a fun show. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this away. So let's go ahead and talk about some of these notes here with the fancy serial number patterns on there. First one up is this $2021 bill with zeros and twos in the serial number. That kind of makes it fancy, right? And this note is actually in phenomenal shape. It looks like it came straight out of a fresh bank strap. They call it a BEP pack because it's packaged up by the Bureau of Engraving and Printing with its own little unique band. It says BEP across it. It's real cute, by the way. They call this a binary, but this is more of a generic binary. The real standard kind of true binary are zeros and ones. And zeros and twos, while it's close, is still called a binary, but it's any two digits that make up a serial number. So we got zeros and twos in this one, selling for $17.49 with 11 bids, which is quite a bit more than face value. Okay, so what I'm not going to do this time, if there's shipping, I'm just not going to talk about it. But do realize that sometimes people charge free shipping, or sometimes they charge for shipping on the items. So that could figure into the actual value of the note, as you would expect. But yeah, this is a really nice one to start things off here. Kind of like, I'm going to say that, your binaries, your radar is another great serial number to find. There are a couple of your kind of like low-hanging fruit fancy serial number types that are going to be easier to find because they exist a lot more in a standard run of 96 million notes for any given block run. So a block run in this case is an LI block. Okay, and then there's probably going to be an LJ block, an LK block, and then they're going to print the same 96 million notes on those as well. So you're going to see that you might encounter, if you're lucky enough, but it's more lottery odds, the same exact serial number, just with a different block designator. That would be pretty cool. There's actually one on the list here today that I think is really neat. Here's the next one that we have here. This one, surprisingly, it's 6 in a row sixes on this very pretty $2003 bill. Pretty in a sense that it also looks uncirculated. But you got those 6 sixes in a row and then 75. It ended up selling for 41 freaking dollars, man. It's not a 7 in a row. It's certainly not 8 in a row. I've seen 7 in a rows sell for right around 40 to 50 bucks as well. So this one kind of threw me for a loop a little bit. But $41, 22 bids, so a lot of people kind of had a hand in the overall value of this particular note right here. But if you come across a serial number where you have all of the same number kind of clumped together, like 5 of a kind, 6 of a kind, 7 of a kinds, do your research. You'd be surprised how much they sell for. Surprisingly, they carry a ton of value. And I didn't know it until about probably like 4 or 5 years ago when I had a few of them and I did some research. I'm like, really? 5 in a row, 7s sell for that kind of money? And it's understood. It's 7. 7's like a lucky number to a lot of people in a lot of cultures. So they seem to want to pay a little bit more for those. Here's another great one here. Binary flipper. Okay, so it's binary because it's 2 numbers, 6s and 9s. Flipper because they use the same type style for the 6s and 9s. So if you take a 6, flipped it upside down or flipped it, it would read a 9. And there would be nothing different about it. And that's why they call them flippers. So flippers are very desirable. And sometimes you'll come across some of these flipper serial numbers that have zeros in them. Those also qualify as flippers. Now, this one right here, $39.95, and a best offer was accepted. I'm not going to be able to get any information on what they sold for because the website I'm using is currently down to pull up that information. But keep something in mind. This is a $20 bill. The only potential pitfall of finding a neat serial number like this on a higher denomination note is that you're not going to get nearly as much profit selling it on a $20 bill. If it was a dollar bill and you sold it for $20, you made $19 in profit. If it's a $20 bill and you sold it for $30, that's a $10 profit. And that's not including any eBay fees or shipping, if applicable. If you did not charge shipping, you also have to pay that out of your pocket, or it'll just come out of the profit of the deal here. But otherwise, a pretty neat note. It's got kind of like that dark top left teller ink area, where they take the marker and they run it across the top of the strap. Next one that we have here, this one's pretty cool. Low serial number. I'm beginning to embrace the fact that 4 digits is indeed a low serial number. It's actually a lot tougher to find, On this $2017 bill, okay, a little bit older, 8 years old, series, and it's been around the block. It's very well circulated. So this is what they call a true trinary. Trinary, okay, binaries are any 2 numbers. Trinary is 3 numbers. In this case, 0s, 1s, and 2s, all represented in here. What makes it a true trinary is that it's 0s, 1s, and 2s, whereas a trinary could be 8s, 6s, and 5s. So this one right here in its current state of condition, and people also use the rating index on mycurrencycollection.com as kind of like a bargaining chip on what these sell for online too. $17.50, 15 bids. They did not charge any shipping. Okay, but this could be something that'd be sitting in your wallet. You won't know it yet. These things are collected by the masses. There's a lot more fancy serial number collectors today than there ever have been. And, there's a lot to love here in this hobby if you wanted to pursue it. Here is something pretty freaking neat. This one's selling yesterday. And I was talking about this before. So you have $2, $1 bills with the same exact serial number, prefix and suffix letters included. There are just 2 different dates of bills. One is, I'll show it to you here in a second, but $200 is what they had this for. And this here is a 2017A. And then when we look at the bottom note, sorry, I got a little lag on my computer here. It's 2021. All right, so maybe if I do this. Yeah, 2021. And then 2017A. It just has the same exact serial number and block, which is quite scarce. This is actually a lot harder than it looks. And I have the feeling that they probably found one in circulation, and then just on a whim, they ended up coming across another one on eBay, and they just bought it, and now they have a matching pair. And believe it or not, a matching pair of the same serial number, whether it's including the block or not, they carry like this crazy multiplier, like 3 to 5x from what I've seen in value when you have them paired up together as opposed to selling them individually. So this one right here, I mean, if it sold for $200, I wouldn't bat an eye. I think probably that's what it's sold for, uncontested. They even put an offer in because it's not crossed out. Here is a pretty neat one. This one also a low serial number, 4-digit, and it's a star note on a $5 bill that ended up selling for $40 with 13 bids. And this bad boy right here is another one that's been around the block a little bit. Okay, now they call this one a kind of a birthday note because it just has, the 4 digits makes out a year, 1970. So I guess, anyone born in 1970, this one would certainly appeal to that individual, and, they'll end up, wanting it a lot more. So $40, 13 bids, pretty good sale there on that one. Here's another one of these. This actually looks like the same note that we just saw in the pair. Yeah, this is the 2021, right? Matching pair, 11441114. No, it's different. The last couple digits are different, but anyways, it sold for $20. Buy it now. Binary 1s and 4s on an uncirculated 2021 strap, or a note rather. Yeah, nice one there. $20 bill. I mean, if you would believe that some of these would be sitting in your pocket and you would just go and just spend it willy-nilly and not thinking that there would be any value, this is yet again another way to make money off of the hobby. All right, next one up here is a even lower serial number ending in 135 on this dollar bill. $1995 bill is what we have here. Circulated, I would say, like maybe VF20, VF25. This one here is selling for $25 with a singular bid. 3-digit serial numbers are good. I like them. I've had pretty good luck selling these for like right around $40 on average. This one right here could have done better. Not really knowing what the difference here on this one is, but that notwithstanding, yeah, pretty neat one here. All right, next one up is another dollar bill. Okay, you guys seeing a little bit of the pattern here. People are preferring to go through dollar bills because you could go through a whole lot more notes when they're a very low denomination and you make more money off of them. So it only seems natural that you should be going through this. Now, first one up here on the list is a 4-digit repeater on this dollar. 3226. This one right here, they put it up as buy now, and someone scooped it up. $22.50, and it's in really nice shape. It's brand spanking new. No folds whatsoever on there. Here's another 4-digit repeater from the same seller, 0045. On this guy, and this one here is $20. So they sold that one for $20. This one had seen some circulation, so they adjusted the price. Even though I think this serial number looks better eye appeal wise compared to the previous one, it is a circulated note. All right, so you have to kind of adjust the value there if you wanted to. And sometimes it's not necessary. If the serial number is strong enough, that'll carry it through even to the same price or value, or maybe even higher. So. There's more than one way to skin a cat. And I like cats. Here's another one here, also from Jets Collectibles. This one here is our first radar serial number. So how this reads is the first 4 numbers will read the same exact way beyond the middle point, but in reverse. So 5852, 2585. All right, so if you cut the serial number in half right in the middle between digit 4 and 5, they'll basically mirror each other on the side there. The only difference is that this one has different letters for the block. You have a CD block. Some people like finding these with like the same identical letters, like CC block or DD block. So that way it kind of fits, the radar profile. And those actually command a little bit more money. Not a whole lot more, like $5 maybe, if you're selling these. But keep in mind, these things right here, 5 years ago used to be under like $10 or under, $8 to $10 for radars, because you can find so many more of this in a run of 96 million than any other fancy type. All right, another one here. It looks like we have this is a hybrid type of fancy. Okay, it's a binary, 3s and 2s, and it's also a repeater, 4-digit repeater. So it's 3332, 3332, and it's also 6 of a kind. Okay, some people actually read into that as being a relevant type of fancy serial number. This one's selling for $25, and they put the pictures in every which way. They're all kind of like, for the most part, sideways, except for that first picture, which actually worked out good, for the thumbnail. Next one that we have here is a $20 bill that sold for $30. Not a whole lot of money to be made here, but boy, man, this thing is a really neat serial number. It's just too bad it's on a $20 bill. If you could cock your head sideways and read it, it's 0123 0123. It's like a mini ladder 4-digit repeater hybrid. And that is cool. That is cool. On a dollar bill, it probably sell for like $30-$40 pretty easily. This one has that punchy kind of visual eye appeal to it. That a lot of collectors of these things love. Again, the $20 face value certainly hurts it in the long run because you're not making as much money here. This person probably profited because they charged no shipping. They probably made like $3 or so. And that's sad. That's really sad for a really neat looking note. Now we're getting to a couple of the last little spicy ones here. How about a 7 of a kind? 1s and 2s on this one. So a lot of 1s. You got that one single 2 in there. On this 2017 $20 bill. Okay, another high denomination. This one's selling for $60. Buy it now. This one actually sold today. And there you go. It's got a little bit of circulation wear, but it looks like it just popped out of an ATM, and the guy looked at it and said, "Geez, yeah, we're gonna sell that on eBay, and make sure we can afford a turkey this year for Thanksgiving." And bam, that $20 bill paid for a really nice, big, large, juicy turkey. Is what that one did. This one, oh my goodness, another $20 bill. Not without its warts. This is a 7 in a row, 8s. One of my favorite numbers, and so is a lot of other people out there in like Chinese culture. The number 8 is very, very lucky. And they have been known to pick up a lot of these fancy serial numbers on our good old US notes, for a pretty healthy amount of money. This one, $100, so 5 times face. It's got a top margin right there. They call that a paper pull, where it tears off the top layer of the paper, which sucks. That's nobody wants to see that, obviously, but it's on there, and this thing probably could have sold for double that, $250, if not for the damaged paper. But that's a pretty cool one there. Always look out for these. Check your wallets as you put money in there from your ATM. This is what we all dream to find. It has a lot going for it. It's a low serial number 10, and it's a true binary. And it's also 7 of a kind zeros, this one, don't know how much it's sold for. I'm going to just throw out a guess, $450. Because they have been commanding a good, healthy amount of money these days. But dang, that thing is awesome. And to think that this one ended up just popping out, out of the ATM. One of my banks does not give out hundreds. It just gives out 50s. So that's my credit union. It's kind of weird. I like the $50 bill. I like to look at, I like Grant on there and all that. It's, Yeah, pretty cool. But if you think this one's cool, the next one to end off this list is going to be another 2-note set. Sequential by 1 digit. Same block, same 2 notes coming out of a strap. 7 in a row sevens with that 8 in the front, and then you also have a super repeater, 8, 6 sevens, and then another 8 is how that one ends out at. And what's cool is that they're sequential, okay, and they're just same date series and all that stuff. Crispy uncirculated note mix here. Look at this. This is the things that dreams are made of. You have a seller with a feedback score of 6. Like they just got started. And this is one of the first things that they sold. And they did really well on it. They sold the pair for 500 bones with 20 bids. People dictated the value of this pair right here, and it was brilliant. Another thing to also keep in note of what we have showed you here today is that none of these pieces are graded. You're going to find that sometimes grading any one specific note, either with like PCGS currency or PMG, are the top 2 favorites among currency collectors. Sometimes it's just not necessary. If you talk to the community at large about fancy serial number collecting, they prefer just to have them raw. You know, unless they're like some really crazy whacked out serial number, like serial number 1 on a note that's crispy uncirculated. They'll probably want to grade that, you know, because that's a very expensive note, you know, upwards of $10,000 is what I've heard on those. But yeah, I mean, you know, grading, if you could avoid it and just keep that money in your pocket, because it'll run you $30 to $40 per note to grade. Sometimes it's just not worth it, especially if you're going to be selling these online anyways. That don't grade them at all. It just doesn't make any sense. Well, there you go. It's back for a day. Who knows when we'll bring this back? It might be next year, which is entirely possible. Fancy serial number report coming at you for this fine couple days here in November, middle of November. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Happy holidays, by the way. And hope to see you, a few of you, on Whatnot here in about, from right now, but before I hit the stop button, about 49 minutes away. All right, so that's coming up real quick. You guys have a great evening. Have a great weekend. Keep on collecting, my friends. Keep on looking, because you never know where you're going to find that next neat, interesting piece. And I hope to see you guys on the next video. You guys take care. Bye-bye now.